Welcome to this session on setting up the price list data template to import data into the system. In this session, we'll help you understand how to use the Excel workbook that's used to configure your price list data. The workbook contains several sheets, and each one has a specific purpose to help define how price lists are handled in the system. We'll start with the instruction sheet. This sheet acts as your step-by-step guide. It explains what details you need to enter, how to enter them correctly, and how the other sheets in the workbook are connected. It also highlights which fields are mandatory and what formatting is required to ensure a successful upload. The instruction sheet provides clarity on how to correctly define sales and purchase price lists, configure price list versions, and assign product-level prices, along with related attributes such as currency, price precision, etc. These settings are essential for enabling consistent, accurate, and automated price handling across all transactions in the system. To learn more about how to use this guide, you can also watch the Data Template Overview session. It gives you a better understanding of how to read and work with the instruction sheet effectively. Let's walk through the price list sheet. This sheet is used to define and manage the various types of price lists that will be used in your organization, such as purchase or sales price lists. Each row in this sheet represents one price list configuration. You'll enter key details that tell the system how the price list should behave and which attributes apply to it, including the currency in which prices are maintained and the price precision that determines how many decimal places should be used for rounding. Let's start with the first column, Organization. Here, you need to enter the exact name of the organization that this price list applies to. For example, Sonic Venture. If the price list should apply to all organizations, simply enter an asterisk. This means the price list is common across every organization in the system. Next, we move to the price list. This is a mandatory field. You need to provide a clear name for the price list like Purchase Price List, Indian Rupees, or Sales Price List, Indian Rupees. This helps users understand whether the list is for procurement, sales, or another purpose. Then we have the currency name. Select the appropriate currency from the drop-down. For example, Indian Rupees. This tells the system in which currency the prices in this list are maintained. Now, we come to the description. This field is not mandatory, but it's good practice to include a brief description. For example, you might write Indian Rupee rates for procurement or Indian Rupee rates for sales. This helps users quickly identify the purpose of each price list. Next is the column Sales Price List. This field uses a yes or no option. Enter Y if this is a sales price list. Enter N if this is a purchase price list. This helps the system distinguish how each price list should be used. Then we have Price Includes Tax, Y or N. Again, this field uses a yes or no option. Enter Y if tax is already included in the prices. Enter N if tax is separate and needs to be added. Next is default. This also uses a yes or no option. Enter Y if this price list should be treated as the default one. Enter N if it's not the default. This helps the system decide which list to use when no specific list is selected. Finally, we have the price precision. This field determines how many decimal places should be used when rounding prices. For example, you might enter 3 to round prices to 3 decimal places. This ensures consistent pricing and prevents rounding issues during calculations. And that's it for the price list sheet. Once this information is filled out correctly, the system will be able to apply the price lists appropriately. The next sheet is the price list version sheet. This sheet is used to define different versions of a price list, each with a specific start date and action type. It allows you to manage price changes over time. For example, when new prices become effective on a future date, you can create a new version here. Each version ensures that the correct prices are applied based on the transaction date, helping the system automatically determine which set of prices to use. Let's start with the first column, Name of the Organization. Here, you need to enter the exact name of the organization for which the price list version applies. For example, Sonic Venture. If the version applies to all organizations, you can use an asterisk to indicate it's global across the system. The next column is Price List. This field should match the price list name you've already defined in the price list sheet, like Purchase Price List, INR, or Sales Price List, INR. It tells the system which price list the version belongs to. This is a mandatory field, and values must come from the list of price lists already configured in your template. The third column is version name. Here, you'll define the name of the version of the price list. Example, Purchase Price List, INR, valid from January 1st, 2025. The version name should be unique and descriptive, so it's easy to recognize when this version is active. Next, we have the description column. This is an optional field. You can enter a short explanation of the version. For example, price list update for Q1. New pricing for seasonal products. If you don't need to add anything here, you can leave it blank. The next column is Action Type. Action Type controls how the system handles prices when copying from a base price list. You can choose to skip if you don't want to update new prices inserted from Create if any changes made in existing prices and discount. Update. Apply changes based on discount updates and price updates in the existing price list. You must select an option from the drop-down list. The final column is Valid From. This field defines the start date from which this version becomes active. Format must be in DD-MM-YYYY. This tells the system when to begin using this version of the price list for transactions. That's it for the price list version sheet. Once configured, these versions allow the system to automatically apply the right prices at the right time, without any manual intervention. Let's move on to the sales price list sheet. This sheet is used to define the sales pricing for products or materials within the system. Each row in this sheet represents the pricing configuration for a specific item under a specific version of the sales price list. Let's start with the first column, Name of the organization. In this column, you need to enter the exact name of the organization for which the sales price list applies. For example, Sonic Venture. If the pricing is common for all organizations, you can enter an asterisk instead. The next column is Price List. This column is a drop-down list linked to the price list sheet. It defines which price list the sales prices are being configured for. For example, Sales Price List, Indian Rupees. Select the appropriate price list from the drop-down. Moving to the price list version. This column is a drop-down list linked to the price list version sheet. It identifies which version of the price list is being used for the item. The values come from the version name column in the price list version sheet. Make sure to select the correct version from the drop-down. Now we go to the product code. In this column, enter the product code or material code from the product master. This is a unique identifier for each item. The next column is product name. Here, you provide a short, descriptive name of the product. For example, Cisco Catalyst Switch. It helps users quickly understand what the item is. Then we have the UOM, Unit of Measure. This is a mandatory field. Choose the base UOM for the product, such as each, kilogram, pack, etc. This is a drop-down field. The values are sourced from the UOM master template to ensure standardized units. It ensures the product is priced and transacted in the correct unit of measure. Next is the product barcode, optional. If the product has a barcode, you can enter it here. If not, you may leave this field blank. Now we come to pricing details. List, price list. Price is the official catalog price of the product in the system's currency, e.g., INR. This is a required field. You can enter the product's list price here as a numeric value, like 1,500, without currency symbols or commas. Standard price is the usual or negotiated price you pay for the product. Enter the standard price as a numeric value, like 1,400. Limit price is the maximum price you're allowed or willing to pay for the product. This is a required field. Enter the limit price as a numeric value, like 1,600. By correctly filling out the sales price list sheet, you ensure accurate and consistent pricing for all sales transactions. This setup helps streamline your sales process, reduce errors, and maintain clear control over pricing policies across different price list versions. Let's move on to the purchase price list sheet. This sheet is used to define the purchase pricing for products or materials within the system. Similar to the sales price list sheet, each row here represents the pricing configuration for a specific item under a specific version of the purchase price list. The structure of this sheet is almost identical to the sales price list sheet. However, the key difference is that here, you must select purchase-specific values for price list and price list version. These values should be selected from the purchase price list and purchase price list version, respectively. You can input the data in the same format as the sales price list sheet. Just make sure to use the purchase-related drop-down options. This allows you to maintain consistency in pricing setup while clearly distinguishing between sales and purchase pricing logic in the system. The last sheet is the list reference sheet. It contains all the predefined drop-down options and lookup codes used throughout the workbook. This sheet serves as a centralized reference for multiple fields, such as action type, e.g., skip, update, currency standard, UOM, unit of measure. Using these standard lists ensures your data remains consistent, validated, and error-free across all sheets, like sales price list, purchase price list, and more. Instead of typing values manually, you can simply select from drop-downs, which pull directly from this reference sheet. This helps avoid typos and ensures compliance with system requirements. Whenever you're unsure which value to choose, especially for fields like UOM or currency, refer back to this list reference sheet for quick and accurate selection. Thank you for watching, and we hope this session helps you complete the price list setup accurately, ensuring your organization's product pricing data is configured correctly and efficiently.